No! Well, hey there, guys. I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaDungeon.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. Our first question comes from Juicy J. Do you think the Boomerang has a chance of appearing in Skyward Sword? I think there's a pretty good chance. I mean, they're making this a game where they're supposed to be incorporating all these old elements of the Zelda series combined with new ones. I think a Boomerang with some crazy new spins for upgrades is a pretty reasonable thing to expect. Now, people claim that the Beedle replaces the Boomerang, and vaguely possible because they serve some vaguely similar functions, but that's still kind of conjecture because, you know, the slingshot does pretty much the same thing as the bow, and yeah, they made it different, but you think they won't do that with the Boomerang and Beedle? You know, there was news recently that it was going to be in the game, but then people questioned the source because it said that one of the Elder Kiwi gives it to you, and that other sources says that's a slingshot. Do you think someone would make a mistake like that? People have also said that, you know, there's no way there'd be that many items before the first dungeon, but Nintendo has pretty much said they're going to give us a lot of items early on, so that's not definite either. Now, it could be a mistake. That's very reasonable, but I still think it's very possible that it was true, and even if it isn't, it could still be later in the game, quite easily, in my opinion. So, I think, possibly, yeah. Laiwanda asks, why don't people believe that Rauru is Kaepora Gaebora? Rauru said himself, I am Rauru, one of the ancient sages. The Gossip Stone said Kaepora Gaebora was a reincarnation of an ancient sage, and Saria, Darunia, and the like obviously weren't ancient sages. Rauru is the only one. Well, yeah, but just because he's the only one that appeared doesn't mean he's the only one in existence. Clearly, he wasn't. And, in fact, I mean, I don't believe that Rauru was Kaepora Gaebora, and I think the main reason why people don't think he is, and why I don't think he is the fact that, he's not dead. You can't reincarnate if you aren't dead. That would be like an avatar or a spirit form. That's not a reincarnation. That's just a carnation. An incarnation, excuse me. So you can't reincarnate if he's not dead, and he is alive. He's still functioning as a sage. You might say, well, he's like a spirit. Well, okay, true, but then where are all the other sages? If you can't die as a sage and you're still like a ghost or whatever, where are all the other sages? I mean, evidently they disappeared at some point. They died or were taken out at some point. I mean, come on. I don't think there's any real logical reason to suggest that Rauru is Kaepora Gaebora anymore. I don't think it's really possible. Vajolka, if I'm pronouncing that right, asks, as you know, the Gerudos did not appear in Twilight Princess. Do you think that they will appear in Skyward Sword? You know, I'm not really sure, because, it seems like they've almost stated it now, that there's not going to be any humans in the land below, and while we've seen a desert, the Gerudo were pretty much humans, so, unless we see Skyloftians who possess, Gerudo racial traits, like racial appearances, which I think is possible, I don't think so, but I think that's very possible. We will see Skyloftians that possess some of the racial characteristics of the Gerudo. In fact, Groose, Link's rival, sorta does a little bit, and there's some other dark-skinned people too, so maybe? I don't know, that's about all I can say. I don't think there's gonna be any Gerudo, like, human people in the land below, though. I doubt that, anyway. Just a Zelda fan asks, Skyward Sword is confirmed to take place before Ocarina of Time, and we didn't see any other Kokiri after Ocarina of Time with the exception of a dead one in the Wind Waker. Since the Kokiri seem to be immortal by aging standards, do you think we will see Saria or any other familiar Kokiri characters in Skyward Sword? Well, also, the Koroks in the Wind Waker were actually the Kokiri. That's the form they turn into. But, moving on, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of the fact that, I mean, I know I've said that I think the Deku Tree will appear in Skyward Sword, but, you know, I'm starting to think maybe not. I mean, maybe those spirits haven't appeared yet, because it's starting to seem like some elements of like, the original origin story of Hyrule, won't be, completely accurately portrayed in Skyward Sword, as in that myth isn't quite as accurate to what really happened as people thought. I'll get to that more, in the article I'm publishing, this Friday, so look forward to that. And the Deku Tree told that specific legend, so if he's in Skyward Sword, that means he would have had to have seen the true version, and I think he kind of would have told Link that, maybe, rather than, you know, a fake version, so I'm kind of leaning now that the Deku Tree, and thus the Kokiri, will not really be in Skyward Sword. Hylian Link 1011 asks, do you think that the Silent Realm mentioned in Skyward Sword will somehow relate to the Twilight Realm and Twilight Princess? If so, how? Well, the Silent Realm, Siren World, whatever, does have Triforces on it on the Guardians who protect it, and basically a Twilight Realm prototype, or previous version of the Twilight Realm, with Triforces in it makes no sense. So I'm really thinking not. I think it's just a similar thematic thing. They're copying, just, make it like Twilight Princess. I don't think it's actually going to relate to the Twilight Realm. It could, I doubt it. And I think it's going to be treated more like it's just this crazy spirit world with strange creatures and spirit beings. Possibly like a holy place. Maybe they're going to connect this to the Sacred Realm. I don't really know. But I don't think it's going to be the Twilight Realm. Ultimate Ocarina of Time fan asks, okay, I've got a question. How do you spell Fi? Is it F-I or P-H-I? I originally thought it was P-H-I, but I keep hearing they changed it. Well, they haven't settled on a lot of the names and spellings and whatnot. The current version, and it seems to be the one they're sticking with, is F-I. Fi, whatever. But, I do think P-H-I would have been better, because it just looks better. It's the old, the Greek letter and whatnot. I just think it would have been a better thing, but it seems like F-I is the correct spelling now, so... Unless they change it again, which is possible. White Ninja asks, on the Skyward Sword intro that was translated to English, it says there is an object created by a goddess. At first I thought it could be the Triforce, but then I remembered that the 3 goddesses created it. It says it is a power without equal, but it is also possible for there to be a power stronger than the Triforce. It also said that the object had the power to make any desire a reality, but I'm pretty sure the Triforce is also known for that. Do you have any thoughts on how this could make sense? Well, it didn't say a goddess made it. It said the goddess sent it up to Skyloft. It said that it was made, I'm pretty sure, by the old gods, which could still apply to the original 3 goddesses. At the same time, though, in Ocarina of Time's creation myth, the goddesses are never credited with creating the Triforce, simply that it's left where they depart. This is also something I intend to touch on in the article I mentioned, but at the same time, it's like, I think that the Triforce is going to be left in the middle of everything that's going to happen in Skyward Sword. Not necessarily that the goddesses created it. It's not necessarily going to change what we actually had stated. Either way, that was a myth, not necessarily a concrete fact. So expect some changes from the standard creation myth as far as I'm concerned. Legend Valkyrie asks, I think that the hint system has made Zelda games too easy. Zelda is supposed to be a puzzle game, but with Navi, Midna, Ezlo, the King of Red Lions, and Tattle, the games have turned into a do-as-they-say games instead. Do you think that they should do away with the hint system or make them less helpful? Well, you don't have to use the hint system, you don't have to listen to it. Maybe it's different in games like Twilight Princess where they force you to listen to Midna's hints, but my stance on the hint system thing is, if it makes a game easy, so what? You can use it if you want. It's a tool for you to make the game easy. If you don't want to use it, don't. It doesn't hurt your experience. So I don't think they should do away with it at all. It makes the series accessible, more accessible anyway, to more casual fans. Some awesome person asks, how do you think the provinces of Twilight Princess are going to be connected to the land areas of Skyward Sword? We already know about them having the same names in some similar places, i.e. Elden Volcano and Faron Woods, but how do you think the Light Spirits will be brought in, if they even are? Well, it does seem like they're pretty much the provinces and pretty much have their, locations from the games. It's really like Faron Province or Faron Woods and Elden Province and Death Mountain / Elden Volcano. So, as for how they're going to connect, I think it's just that's just it. It's the same area. It seems like they're kind of going with what Twilight Princess established for how Hyrule looks and what the world is. As for the Light Spirits, I think we're definitely going to see them in the game, because these are the villains pretty much are almost definitely the Dark Interlopers, and the Light Spirits intervene there. I think the game is going to involve, probably during the second half after the standard plot twist, though I'm not sure, you gathering the 3 Light Spirits who helped, fight off the Dark Interlopers. I think it's very possible. Inspector Gadget asks, do you think we will see more characters that were introduced in a previous cel-shaded game other than Beedle and Skyward Sword? I very much think so. I very much expect Tingle actually to make an appearance, and I think that we will see some of those characters who seem to have gotten ditched since, the cel-shaded games. I think we'll see them for sure. I don't have any more opinion than that. It's just, I think so, yeah. And alright, last question. Hero of Winds 2 asks, how do you think Ghirahim plans to bring his master back to life? This is not a thing I can answer very clearly because, I haven't played the game. I don't know a lot of the plot details. I'm beginning to think that big black creature that Link has a nightmare about and who tries to snatch Zelda that we thought was a whale before, I think that might have something to do with his master. Because Link has a dream about it before he meets the creature. Why would he have a dream about some random monster Ghirahim sent after Zelda? I don't think he would. The last time he had a prophetic dream in a Zelda game, it was Ocarina of Time when he had a prophecy about Ganon. So, I think this is going to be it's a major part of the story, and exactly what part, I'm not sure, but maybe it's as simple as he needs to feed Zelda to it, to feed her the Triforce or whatever power she has. I don't know. But I'm interested in that thing. I think it relates to the plot quite a lot, actually. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the contact page in the description, and I'll see you guys later.